we have permission to turn off our mind and let our heart lead us. In other words, there's this very interesting thing that happens when we consciously release resistance and allow our vibration to rise. We can become aware that we're being informed. Our actions are being informed. Our movements are being informed. Our thoughts are being informed. Our impulses are being informed in this way where it feels as if our mind is kind of blank and we're not thinking. There's no effort with the thought. It's a reception. It's like we're receiving these fully formed thoughts that are completely free of resistance. And it doesn't necessarily even have to be conceptual. It can just be like the impulse to move or the impulse to do something. And it's accompanied by a visceral light sensation, a feeling of pure positive energy. And in the Tao Te Ching, it says there's no greater tragedy than preparing to defend ourselves. And the reason for this is because if we believe that there's something to defend against, we actually create something to defend against. So we can never get out of that trap. Because that's not the nature of reality. It's a flawed premise. So we have permission to shut off the part of our mind and let go of the part of ourself that needs to protect itself. So when we're continually observing what is, we lock into the frequency of what is. And if what is already what we want, then that's all well and good. But if we're trying to allow for more money to come into our life and we're obsessing over how much we currently have, if we are wishing to experience a better, more enjoyable physical experience within our own body and our health and well-being and nutrition and whatnot, we have to just appreciate the fact that we have a body and appreciate the subject altogether in order to align with what is wanted. We can't be observing what is and condemning ourselves for where we are or feeling any negative emotion about where we are and create and allow what we want. Yet it's kind of a paradox because we're all in this physical experience and we all do have things up in our face and bills to pay and some type of physical experience that we're in and scenarios that we want to bring light to and just arrange our life in ways where we can truly just relax into happily ever after. And so trust and allowing are the same thing. And when we, in Zen and, ancient, or the wisdom teachings of the East and whatnot, there's so much emphasis placed on this ease quality. Like I'm just reminded of a Zen story that Osho shares about an archer who's learning how to, shoot the bow and hit the bullseye every time. And he's like, he's mastered the skill and he can pull it back and hit the bullseye every time. And his master or whatever is observing him. And every time the guy pulls it back and hits the bullseye and the master's just like, no, you don't got it. And the man who's trying to understand is like going nuts, racking his brain. He's like, I'm hitting the bullseye every time. What am I doing wrong? And the master's just like, you don't have it yet. And then when the man finally is just like so frustrated because he can't figure it out, he doesn't know what he's doing wrong because he's hitting the bullseye perfectly. He's doing everything technically right. He's finally just like, within his own mind, he's just like, fuck it. He's like, fuck this shit. He's like, and he's like prepared to stop or whatever. And he just like takes one last arrow and hits it bullseye and he's like walking away. And the master's like, you got it. You've attained. You realized. And the point here is that originally he was in his mind, and then when he couldn't figure it out with his mind, he finally let go and got into his heart. So he did it naturally. And as an observer, you would notice the difference within the movements of one's body as you would observe someone like, I'd say, a Bruce Lee or anybody who has mastered like some type of martial art or physical art or athletic ability. It's a spiritual thing, and so there's a difference between uh, receiving it's like a fully formed blueprint from source that's, yes, precisely, we just follow these calculations. And that's not to say that there's only one way to accomplish what we want to experience. There's infinite ways. But when we're really tuned in and we're letting the universe work its magic and we're letting infinite intelligence operate through us in direct response to our call of desire, there's this effortless Zen like quality of ease with everything. So there's no effort, there's no tension. It's not mind activity, it's heart activity. It's emotionally focused, and our mind can be ablaze with inspiration and thoughts and images, but it's all, the mind is in service to the heart, and the heart is just this energy center of pure positive energy. So there's infinite ways we can keep talking as it expresses through all of our different chakras and the different elements of who we are and what makes up the nature of us as divine beings. And it's fun to talk about. So we will do more of that as we continue. So thank you, and let's have an awesome day.